Kunja Bihari Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayana Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivam Saraswatam Vyasam
Devam Saraswati Vyasam
Tato Jayam Udirayat
Tojayam Udayat
Nasta Prayesha Bhadreshu
Ashtaprayesha Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Jam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Utama Sloka
Uttama Sloke
Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhakti Naistiki.
Reading from Srimad-bhagavatam, chapter 17, Canto 8, 9, Canto 9, the Dynasties of the Sons of Pururava. Okay, so there's a chapter summary, which is usually written by Srila Prabhupada. It probably was here. So I'll read the summary. Ayu, the eldest son of Pururava, had 5 sons. This chapter describes the dynasties of 4 of them, beginning with Kshatrivridha. Ayu, the son of Pururava, had 5 sons: Nahusha, Kshatrivridha, Raji, Rabba, and Anena. The son of Kshatrivridha was Suhotra, who had 3 sons named Kasya, Kusha, and Gritsamada. The son of Gritsamada was Shunaka, and his son was Shonaka. The son of Kasha was Kashi. From Kashi came the sons and grandsons known as Rastra, Dirgatama, and then Dhanvantari, who was the inaugurator of medical science and was a Saktabhesh incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Vasudeva. The descendants of Dhanvantari were Ketuman, Bhimarata, Devodas, and Duman, who was also known as Pratadana, Shatrujit, Vatsa, Ritadvaja, and Kuvalayasva. The son of Duman was Alaka, who reigned over the kingdom for many, many years. Following in the dynasty of Alaka were Santati, Sunita, Niketana, Dhammaketu, Satyaketu, Tristaketu, Sukumara, Vitihotra, Bhaga, and Bhagabhumi. All of them belonged to the dynasty of Kashi, the descendant of Kshatrivridha. The son of Rabba was Rabasa, and his son was Gambhira. Gambhira's son was Akriya, and from Akriya came Brahmavit. The son of Anena was Shuta, and his son was Suchi. The son of Suchi was Chitrakrit, whose son was Santaraj. Raji had 500 sons, all of extraordinary strength. Raji was personally very powerful and was given the kingdom of heaven by Lord Indra. Later, after Raji's death, when the sons of Raji refused to return the kingdom to Indra, by Brihaspati's arrangement, they became unintelligent and the Lord Indra conquered them. The grandson of Kshatrivridha named Kusha gave birth to a son named Prati. From Prati came Sanjaya, from Sanjaya Jaya, from Jaya Krita, and from Krita Haryabala. The son of Haryabala was Sahadev, the son of Sahadev Hina, the son of Hina Jayasen, the son of Jayasen Sankriti, and the son of Sankriti Jaya. I'm going to read all that in translation into Russian. I don't think you should.
You want to go to the next chapter?
Go to the next chapter. We're going to the next chapter. We're going to the next chapter. There's only one very small purple. It's all names in this chapter.
There are only 16 verses in this whole chapter, and that was pretty much it.
But even before we start, but
Okay, chapter 18. King Yayati regains his youth. This chapter gives a history of King Yayati, the son of Nahusha. Among Yayati's 5 sons, the youngest son, Puru, accepted Yayati's invalidity. When Nahusha, who had 6 sons, was cursed to become a python, his eldest son Yati took sannyas, and therefore the next son, Yayati, was enthroned as king. By providence, Yayati married the daughter of Shukracharya. Shukracharya was a Brahmin and Yayati a Kshatriya, but Yayati married her nonetheless. Shukracharya, named Devayani, had a girlfriend named Samishta, who was the daughter of Vrishabhava. King Yayati married Samishta also. The history of this marriage is as follows. Once Samishta was sporting in the water with thousands of her girlfriends, and Devayani was also there. When the young girls saw Lord Shiva sitting on his bull with Uma, they immediately dressed themselves, but Shamista mistakenly put on Devayani's clothes. Devayani, being very angry, rebuked Samishta, who had also become very angry, and responded by rebuking Devayani and throwing her into a well. By chance, King Yayati came to that well to drink water, and he found Devayani and rescued her. Thus Devayani accepted Maharaj Yayati as her husband. Thereafter, Devayani, crying loudly, told her father about Shamista's behavior. Upon hearing of this incident, Shukracharya was very angry and wanted to chastise Vrishabhava, Shamista's father. Vrishabhava, however, satisfied Shukracharya by offering Dharmista as Devayani's maidservant. Thus, Samishta, as the maidservant of Devayani, also went to the house of Devayani's husband. When Samista found her friend Devayani with a son, she also desired to have a son. Therefore, at the proper time for conception, she also requested Maharaj Yayati for sex. When Samista became pregnant, also Devayani was very envious. In great anger, she immediately left for her father's house and told her father everything. Shukracharya again became angry and cursed Maharaj Yayati to become old. But when Yayati begged Shukracharya to be merciful to him, Shukracharya gave him the benediction that he could transfer his old age and invalidity to some young man. Yayati exchanged his old age for the youth of his youngest son, Puru, and thus he was able to enjoy with young girls. It's quite a character. I guess so. Well, maybe I'll just keep going with verse 1. We'll just do text 1, and you can repeat the Sanskrit. Shri Sukarivacha Yatir Yayati Samyatir Ayatir Vyati Kriti Sadime Nahushasya Sanam Indriyaniva Dehina. Okay. In translation, Sukadeva Goswami said, O King Parikshit, as the embodied soul has 6 senses, King Nahusha had 6 sons, namely Yati, Yayati, Samyati, Ayati, Vyati, and Kriti. Text 2, please repeat. Rajam Nachadyati Pitra. Sorry. Okay, here we are. Can you see it? Rajam Nachadyati Pitra Tatam Tat Parinamavit Yatra pravishta purusha atmanam navabhujate rajam nachajati pitra tatam tat parinamavat yatra pravishta purusha atmanam navabhujate. Somebody else? That's it. Okay, word for word, please repeat. Rajam, the kingdom. Na Aichat, did not accept. Yati, the eldest son, Yati. Pitra, by his father. Datam, offered. Harinama, vit, knowing the result of becoming powerful as a king. Yatra, wherein. Pravishta, having entered. Purusha, such a person. Atmanam, self-realization. Na, not. Avabhujate, will take seriously and understand. Translation of the verse. When one enters the post of king or head of the government, one cannot understand the meaning of self-realization. Knowing this, Yati, the eldest son of Nahusha, did not accept the power to rule, although it was offered by his father. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Self-realization is the prime objective of human civilization, and it is regarded seriously by those who are situated in the mode of goodness and have developed the Brahminical qualities. Kshatriyas are generally endowed with the material qualities conducive to gaining wealth, material wealth, and enjoying sense gratification. But those who are spiritually advanced are not interested in material opulence. Indeed, they accept only the bare necessities for a life of spiritual advancement in self-realization. It is specifically mentioned here that if one enters political life, especially in the modern day, one loses the chance for human perfection. Nonetheless, one can attain the highest perfection if one hears Srimad-bhagavatam. This hearing is described as Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Maharaj Parikshit was involved in politics, but because at the end of his life he heard Srimad-bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, he attained perfection very easily. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore suggested, Sthani stita shrutigatam tanuban manobhya ye prayasho jita jita pyasi tais trilokyam. Bhagavatam 10.14.3. Regardless of whether one is in the mode of passion, ignorance, or goodness, if one regularly hears Srimad-bhagavatam from the self-realized soul, one is freed from the bondage of material involvement. That's it.
Encourage unblockable harmony. Самосознание является главной целью человеческой цивилизации, а мы, находящиеся в состоянии полной благости, наблюдающие за хроническими качествами, понимают важность самосознания. Моральные шаги правила преобладают реальные качества, позволяющие умножать свои богатства и создать чувства. Однако духовно-практичные люди не стремятся к реальной ценности. Они оставляют себе огромное столько, чтобы не нужно того, чтобы вести духовную жизнь и оценивать на познание себя. В этом стихе подчеркивается, что человек, посвятивший себя политике, особенно в нашем мире, лишается всякой надежды на обретение совершенства. Однако любой человек, слушающий Бхагаватам, может обрести высшее совершенство. Слушая Бхагаватам, человек служит ему, людям Бхагаватам Севаря, хотя Махараджа Парикши не делает заниматься политикой, он всегда достиг совершенства, поскольку в конце жизни услышал, что делали сами через Бхагаватам. Поэтому в читании Махараджа говорит, Сами так, что там Ивановна Молодец, ее край, хорошо, хорошо, красиво, там, Бхагаватам, независимо от того, какой именно находится человек, страсть невежества и благости, ежедневно слушая Бхагаватам, он осознавший себя души, он может освободиться от реального привязанности.
Finished? Okay. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he set the example of somebody who was showing how to be renounced. So he was acting as a devotee to show us how to be devotees. An example is that King Pururava wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya. Obviously, he was a king. And Lord Chaitanya refused to see him because he was surrounded by opulence. Even though he was a great devotee, King Pururava was a great devotee, but Lord Chaitanya refused to meet him. And all the other devotees, Lord Chaitanya's intimate friends, devotees, they were trying to persuade him to meet the king because the king was such a great devotee. But Lord Chaitanya refused to meet him. And then they suggested that King Pratapudra gave up his kingly dress. And if he went in very simple clothes, then Lord Chaitanya wouldn't know he was a king. So they met, and then the king started reciting verses from the Gopi Gita. And there was one verse, Tavakatamritam Taptajivanam Kavi Viridam Kamasapaham Shravana Mangalam Srimad-bhagavatam Bhuvi Granati Bhuridajana, which is apparently a very famous verse because all the Sanskrit words are perfectly formed, and it rhymes. So Tavakatamritam Tatjivanam Kaviviridam Kamasadam Shravanam Mangalam. How's it go? Anyway, it's a very important verse. And so when, yeah, sorry.
Стих, который санскритские слова идеально сформированы, они звучат как идеально сделаны.
So the verse actually means that the nectar of your pastimes and narration of your activities, this is the Gopis speaking,
Стих переводится как нектар, который ел
hearing about your pastimes and activities, the Gopis say,
когда мы слышим о твоих времяпровождениях Господа, говорила,
is the life and soul of those suffering in the material world.
это есть душа жизни всех тех, кто страдает от жизни.
These narrations, which are transmitted by great sages,
Эти рассказы, которые рассказаны,
they're doing the greatest welfare work.
они совершают самую великую благость, самую большую работу.
So when Lord Chaitanya heard this verse, Tabakatamritam Taptajivanam Kaviviridam Kamasahamam Shavanamangalam Srimad-bhagavatam Class Buridajana, when he heard the verse, he went into ecstasy.
Когда свой читание услышал стих, он впал в полный экстаз.
And he embraced the king.
Он обнял царя,
Said, "Oh, my dear friend,
мой дорогой друг,
you have reminded me of Krishna."
ты напомнил мне о Кришне.
So Lord Chaitanya, he was so renounced that he wouldn't meet the king.
Свой читание был настолько огорчен, что он не хотел царя.
Just we can't imitate that. If we had the chance to meet King Charles,
Мы не можем подражать, что если бы была возможность короля Чарля,
we probably have to meet him. He's not even a devotee. But Lord Chaitanya was God, so he didn't have to bow down to anybody.
Но Господь Чайтанья, он Господь, Бог, не надо поклоняться.
So even well, Lord Chaitanya was demonstrating renunciation, and one time he had a devotee, Jagadananda Pandit.
Господь Чайтанья, он хотел учение, одновременно
Jagadananda Pandit was an incarnation of Satyabhama. So he was a very special person. Because Satyabhama was Krishna's favorite queen. Jagadananda Pandit was a very special person. He was an incarnation of Satyabhama, who was Krishna's favorite queen. So one time he made some sandalwood oil, a whole big jug of it. And he gave it to Lord Chaitanya. I mean, sandalwood oil is very valuable and very expensive to get. It's very hard to find pure sandalwood oil now. It used to come from, well, you get it in Mysore. Mysore is a city, area in South India, Mysore.
Раньше его добывали в Масоне,
And they would call it Malayan sandalwood, Malayan,
они добывали его
because a lot of it grew in Malaya, which is Malaya? Never heard of it? You heard of Malaya? Huh? Coconuts? Yeah, probably. Well, then they made that. Now they use it for growing rubber trees, like all these cars, the tires.
Землю добывали на Малайи, но сейчас там на Малайи производят каучук.
So they chopped down all the sandalwood trees to grow rubber.
Они скидывали сандаловые деревья, и теперь там выращивают.
Prabhupada mentioned it, about the rubber.
Но сразу да,
Huh? Yeah, well, anyway, when Prabhupada was speaking, it was from Malaysia. Where is it from now? I don't know.
это 70-е выращивали.
Anyway, when Prabhupada was talking about it. So anyway, he got the sandalwood oil, he gave it to Lord Chaitanya.
В любом случае, он добыл сандаловое дерево и дал ему масло сандаловое.
Lord Chaitanya said, I'm not a diary sannyasi. It means basically I'm not an enjoyer. Lord Chaitanya was trying to show how strict he was as a sannyasi. And so Jagadananda Pana, he was very upset. And he broke the pot of oil. And he was really, he was, what's the word? He churlish. No, you don't know the meaning of that. Churlish. You know what churlish means? He was childlike, Jagadananda Pana. He was so upset. And then Lord Chaitanya said, well, you can cook for me. So he was satisfied because he got to cook for Lord Chaitanya. Now, back in the day when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was on this planet, he expected his sannyasis to be very austere. They had to walk everywhere barefoot. And they couldn't go and see a doctor. For some reason, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta didn't like that. I read a whole thing about him. Anyway, so then he said, if you want to, have luxuries like going to see a doctor and wearing shoes, then you have to take off your sannyas dhoti and wear a tail. We all have a tail at the back. Right? Because he said that if you're, not austere, you shouldn't wear the sannyas dress. Because he said that sannyas is the only human form of life. If you're not a sannyasi, you're like an animal. So you have to have a tail. It's funny. So Lord Chaitanya was, showing an example of how to be austere.
И таким образом почитание давал пример,
Another one is Raghunath Das Goswami.
еще один пример, это Рагунатха Даса Госвами.
Because Raghunath Das Goswami is a great example for us of how to practice Krishna consciousness. And he wrote a famous book called Vilapa Kusumanjali, which everyone should try to read when you've read all the Prabhupada books 5 times. So Vilapa Kusumanjali is all about Raghunath Das Goswami in his eternal spiritual form as Rati Manjari. Rati Manjari. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he lived at Radhakund. And he came from a very wealthy family. And his father and uncle, they owned many villages. And they were extremely wealthy. And Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath, before he became sannyas, he was trying to escape from his family's home. And Lord Chaitanya had called his uncle and his father, because they were materialistic, but they were devotees, materialistic. Prakrita Bhaktas means materialistic devotees. So Lord Chaitanya had called them worms in stool. And Raghunath, he wanted to leave home. He didn't like all the opulence. And he tried many times to leave home. He had a beautiful wife. Like she was, sometimes, especially Indian women, they can be very beautiful. But he wasn't interested. Anyway, eventually he managed to escape home. And he went to see Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda put his foot on his head. So Raghunath, he left home, and then he was begging. He was begging in Jagannath Puri. By the Singha Dwara gate. Singha, like Lord Nrsimha, Singha, like the lion gate. There's they have a gate. So he was begging there. And then he thought, I feel like a prostitute begging like this. Because a prostitute, is looking for customers. The prostitute sees a man and thinks, oh, maybe this one will enjoy with me. So he was thinking, oh, maybe this one will give me some money, will give me some food. So he stopped begging. And then he started, he was actually also getting money from his family. But he was using it to feed the devotees in Puri. And then he thought, why should I take this money from materialistic people? I'm not going to accept it anymore. So then he was eating the rejected food that had gone moldy, that even the animals wouldn't eat. And he was taking the mold off, and he was washing it. And that's how he was living. And Lord Chaitanya found out what he was eating. And he came there, and he said, what is this nectar you're eating? Anyway, he showed the pinnacle. You know what pinnacle means? Pinnacle. The topmost renunciation. Like Mount Everest, the pinnacle of Mount Everest. Pinnacle. Topmost. Anyway, so Prabhupada said we can't imitate Raghunath Das Goswami. He said it's not possible to be like that. But then he said there is a possibility. So in a way, it's hard to know exactly what he meant. But maybe after many lifetimes, we might also become renounced. So, in this purport, Prabhupada's talking about, how we should live simply. We're not interested in, a luxurious life. But you can't judge people by their appearances. Because Ramananda Roy, for instance, he was a governor. He was a governor. Means he controls a large area. Like we have a governor, Ron DeSantis, Florida, governor of Florida. So he was the governor of Madras. What's Madras called nowadays? They changed the names. There was a big part of the British Empire, Madras. What's that called? Anyway, they're like Italy and dosa. Huh? Is it? No, not Mumbai. Huh? No, don't guess. It's all right. Anyway, so Prabhupada said, there's a possibility we can become renounced. And so Ramananda Roy, he was a great, powerful person, but but Lord Chaitanya went to hear from him about the love of the gopis.
В любом случае, нам возможно стать воспочитанием. Он пошел и послушал Раманагароя, слушал вот этот рассказывал о гордости, и в то время как Раманагароя был предателем, и был очень богатым.
So we have to find a balance between being renounced and being practical.
Мы должны найти баланс между отречением и практичностью.
So there's a verse in the 5th canto by Rishabdev, Lord Rishabdev, chapter 5, there's a verse that says, Yeva mayeshe kritasorda ta janeshu teham rabatikeshu jayatmacha ratakeshu. Anyway, he says that a householder should live very simply,
Он говорит, что домохозяин должен жить очень просто.
should not be attached to his home,
Он не должен привязываться к дому.
that or his wife and children. He shouldn't be attached to his wife or children.
Не должен привязываться к жене и детям.
And he should make enough money, only enough to keep body and soul together.
Он должен зарабатывать только достаточно количество денег, чтобы содержать тело.
Not more than that, not less than that.
Не больше, не меньше.
So that is, this is the verse here. Yeba maishi kritasoridata janeshu teham brabhatikeshu griheshu jayatmaja ratasmatsu napratiyukta yavad atashtiloke. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love of Godhead. Are you looking it up? 553.
553.
Anyway, I'll read the English. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love of Godhead do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. They are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and depending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be householders, nor are they attached to wives, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and soul together.
Я только что прочитал Srimad-bhagavatam 5 глава, текст. Того, кто старается пробудить в себе сознание Кришны, развить любовь к Богу, привлекает занятия, которые не связаны с Кришной. Такой человек не общается с теми, кто говорит только о том, как удовлетворить свои телесные потребности, интересные, сексе и самозащиту. Он может вести семейную жизнь, однако он не привязывается к удобным семейным друзьям и имуществу. В то же время он не пренебрегает своими обязанностями. Он трудится, чтобы при этом стремится работать денег больше, чем необходимо, чтобы поддерживать жизнь в теле.
In the purport, Prabhupada said, even if one is a grihas and has to earn his livelihood, he should be satisfied by collecting only enough money to maintain body and soul together. One should not have more than that, nor less than that. As indicated herein, a householder should endeavor to earn money for the execution of Bhakti Yoga. In other words, if you spend too much time making money, you won't have enough time to practice Krishna consciousness.
И в комментариях говорится, что даже если он часто вынужден содержать себя и свою семью, он должен работать столько, сколько нужно, чтобы поддерживать жизнь в теле, не больше, не меньше. Смелый человек должен прежде всего охотиться на занятия и больше не должен.
Anyway, so We have to find a balance between being too renounced. I've seen some people trying to be too renounced.
Можно найти баланс между учением и практичностью, и я иногда говорю, что это слишком отвлеченно.
They don't eat enough
Они недостаточно кушают,
and they don't sleep enough.
они недостаточно спят.
This is how it used to be. It's not so much like this anymore.
Это как раньше, сейчас.
And then they disappear,
И они сейчас в этот момент не исчезают.
never to be seen again. So, Robert said, when you first become a devotee, you're supposed to wobble like a duck. Eat so much prasadam that you wobble. I'm still on that stage. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Srimad-bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad-bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.